Hello, dear soul. If you found your way here today, maybe you're feeling tired, worn out, a little disconnected from yourself. Maybe your heart is carrying the silent weight of trying so hard to be enough. Maybe you've been walking through your days with a quiet ache that says, I wish I didn't have to try this hard, just to feel worthy. If any of that resonates, this space is for you. You're safe here. You can breathe here. You don't have to impress anyone here. You can simply arrive as you are, no masks, no pressure, no need to be anything more than human. Let's begin this moment together with a slow, deep breath. Inhale through the nose, hold gently, and exhale slowly through the mouth. Let your shoulders drop. Let the noise soften. Let your heart be heard, even in its quietest whispers. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. Such a simple sentence. But oh, how hard it is to truly believe. So many of us grew up in environments where love was conditional. Where praise came only when we performed well. Where approval was earned, not freely given. Where being good meant hiding the messy parts. And somehow, over time, we learned to associate love with achievement. With productivity, with perfection. We started believing, if I just work harder. If I look better. If I stop making mistakes. Then maybe, finally, I'll be worthy of love. But love that depends on conditions, is not love at all. It's a transaction. It's a performance. And it's exhausting. The truth is, love, real love, doesn't ask you to earn it. It meets you in your humanness. It holds you when you crumble. It stays, even when you're not at your best. Maybe lately, you've been feeling like a burden. Maybe you've made mistakes you can't stop replaying. Maybe you've looked in the mirror and thought, I'm not who I wish I was. Maybe you've been stuck in a cycle of self-criticism, where nothing you do ever feels enough. If that's where you are right now, let me speak gently to that part of you. You don't need to be flawless. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to keep proving your worth every single day. You are already worthy. Exactly as you are. Not because you're perfect, but because you're human, because you're here. Because your heart still beats with courage, even when it feels broken. Think about someone you love deeply. A friend. A sibling. A child. Do they have to be perfect for you to love them? Would you stop loving them if they failed? If they cried? If they didn't meet some imaginary standard? No. Because love doesn't measure like that. Love sees the cracks and stays anyway. Love says, I'm here, even when you're not okay. So why is it so hard to offer that same love, to ourselves? We spend so much time being kinder to others than we are to ourselves. We speak compassion to a friend who's struggling, but we shame ourselves when we stumble. We forgive the flaws of those we care about, but we carry guilt for years over our own mistakes. Today, I invite you to shift that pattern. To practice the radical, quiet revolution of self-compassion. Try speaking to yourself like this, even when I mess up, I am still deserving of love. Even if I'm not productive today, I still have worth. Even if I don't meet others' expectations, I am allowed to be me. Even in my brokenness, I am still whole. You don't need to wait until you're healed to be loved. You don't need to wait until you're successful, happy, confident, or inspiring. You don't need to wait until you're a version of yourself that you think is more lovable. You are already enough. Already lovable. Already worthy of the softest kind of love. ZZZ. Let's pause again for a breath. Inhale slowly, hold, and release. Feel the air remind you, you're alive. You're here. And that's a miracle. Sometimes we get so caught up in chasing the ideal version of ourselves, that we forget to honor the person we already are. We become obsessed with becoming better, when maybe what we truly need is to become more honest, more authentic, more gentle. I want you to know this: healing is not a race. You don't have to achieve peace. You don't have to force growth. You don't have to fix every broken thing before you're allowed to rest. You can take your time. You can rest in the in-between. You can cry, pause, fall apart, and still be worthy of love through every moment of it. Perfection is not a prerequisite for connection. You don't need to be shiny to be seen. You don't need to be strong to be held. You only need to be real. To show up. To breathe. To feel. And even when it feels like the world only celebrates the polished versions of people, there will always be spaces, like this one, where your unfiltered self is welcome. If your heart is aching right now, if the weight of being not enough feels heavy today, let this be your reminder: you are allowed to be imperfect. You are allowed to be uncertain. You are allowed to not have the answers. You are allowed to be you, exactly as you are. There is nothing you need to prove in order to be loved. No gold stars to earn. No image to uphold. No performance to give. Just you. Breathing, existing, being. And that is more than enough. Welcome back, dear heart. Let's take one more slow breath together, in through your nose, hold for a moment, and release gently through your mouth. Feel yourself returning, not to a version of you that you think you should be, but to the one that simply is. The version that exists in this very moment. Soft. Unpolished. Real. That version is still worthy of love. Water wave, have you ever felt like you're only as lovable as your last success? Like your value disappears when you fall behind? Like the moment you stop achieving, people might stop caring? You're not alone. We live in a world that celebrates highlight reels. Social media bombards us with carefully edited snapshots of perfection. Perfect bodies. Perfect routines. Perfect homes. Perfect relationships. And somewhere along the way, we begin to believe that our worth must also be curated. That our messiness is something to hide. That if we show our fears, our flaws, our uncertainties, we'll scare people away. But that's not the truth. That's just noise. What makes you truly lovable isn't your performance. It's your presence. It's your heart. It's the way you keep showing up, even when it's hard. It's the way you care, the way you try, the way you feel deeply, even when you don't say it out loud. Let's talk about shame. Shame is that quiet voice inside that says, you're too much. You're not enough. You'll never be worthy unless you fix everything. Shame doesn't whisper the truth. It whispers fear. It keeps us small. It convinces us to keep wearing masks. It makes us afraid to be known, because if people really knew us, wouldn't they walk away? But here's what shame doesn't want you to remember: the deepest form of love isn't built on image. It's built on honesty. It's built on vulnerability. It's built on the quiet courage it takes to say, this is me. Unfinished. Imperfect. Still growing. Still learning. Still deserving of love. And the people who are meant for you, the ones who see you clearly, won't ask you to be anything more than that. Cloud with rain. Maybe you've been hiding parts of yourself. The sadness you carry. The anger you don't know what to do with. The fear of being abandoned. The dreams that feel too tender to speak aloud. The things you believe make you too complicated. But hiding doesn't lead to connection. Hiding only deepens the ache of loneliness. Real love, healing love, doesn't shrink when you reveal your truth. It expands. It says, "Thank you for trusting me with this part of you." It says, "You don't have to pretend here." So if you've been performing for too long, if you've been trying to keep it all together so people don't leave, maybe it's time to let the mask slip, just a little. You don't have to rip it off all at once. But even a small step toward honesty can be the beginning of freedom. White heart, you are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not the worst thing you've ever done. You are not defined by the people who couldn't love you well. You are not your flaws, your failures, your forgotten dreams. You are so much more. You are softness and strength intertwined. You are the quiet hope that refuses to die, even when everything feels dark. You are resilience in the form of a beating heart. You are worthy, not someday, not when you're better, but right now. Even with your doubts. Even with your cracks. Even in the middle of the mess. Let's pause here and offer your heart a few loving affirmations. You don't have to say them out loud. Just let them wash over you. I am allowed to be a work in progress. I am learning to love the parts of me I used to hide. I do not have to be perfect to be held, seen, or valued. My worth is not measured by my productivity or performance. Even when I fall short, I am still worthy of love. Take another breath. Let those words settle in your chest. Let them plant seeds in the soil of your self-worth. They may not bloom overnight, but they will grow, if you keep tending to them with kindness. Carousel horse, you are allowed to rest. This one may sound simple, but for so many of us, it's the hardest thing to do. We tie our value to how much we give, how much we fix, how much we do. Until resting feels like weakness. Like laziness. Like failure. But rest is not a betrayal of your potential. Rest is an act of self-love. Rest says, "I am enough," even when I pause. Rest is how your soul recalibrates. It's where your heart finds quiet truths. So if your body is tired, let it rest. If your mind is weary, let it be still. If your emotions are loud, give them space to be felt. There is no shame in being human. You were never meant to carry everything alone. You were never meant to be everything for everyone. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be real. To be held. To be known. To be loved, as you are. Milky Way, and maybe, just maybe, this moment is your beginning. Not the kind of beginning where everything changes overnight. But the kind where a tiny shift begins inside you. Where you whisper to yourself, "I'm done trying to earn love through perfection. I'm done abandoning myself to be accepted by others. I'm ready to try something gentler." Gentleness is not weakness. It is strength in its most sacred form. And you, dear heart, deserve a gentle life. You deserve people who stay when you're quiet. You deserve spaces where your softness is safe. You deserve mornings without pressure and nights without guilt. You deserve to exhale. Shooting star, so tonight, or whenever your soul feels fragile, come back to these words. Come back to this space. Come back to yourself. You don't have to be anyone else. You don't have to try harder to be loved. You don't have to earn your place in someone's life. You already belong, here. In this breath. In this body. In this life. Just as you are. Welcome, dear one. As we come to the final part of this journey, let's pause for a moment and take a deep breath together. In through your nose, hold it for a beat, and exhale slowly. Let everything that's been said settle deep within you. Know that these words are for you, and you alone. And that, no matter where you are loved. Crescent moon, you don't have to be perfect to be loved, and the truth is, you never were meant to be perfect. Perfection is a story that we tell ourselves. It's a measure that doesn't exist, a standard that only keeps us chasing after something that was never real in the first place. You were never meant to be flawless, to be free of mistakes. You were meant to be human, to feel, to grow, to stumble, and to rise again. You were meant to learn, to discover, to stretch, and sometimes, to fall. And in all of it, you are loved. Perfect or not. Milky Way, the love you seek has always been within you. Sometimes, it's easy to forget. To feel as though you have to search far and wide for love, when the truth is, love is already part of your essence. It is the tenderness you feel when you care deeply. It's the empathy you show when others are struggling. It's the kindness you offer, even when you feel like you don't have much to give. True love isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about acceptance. It's about looking at someone, or yourself, and saying, you are enough, just as you are. And I love you, exactly as you are. Sparkling heart, so, let me ask you, dear heart. What would it feel like to let go of the weight of perfection? To no longer try to measure up? To simply be. To simply exist in your truest form, without fear of judgment, without the pressure of comparison? What would it feel like to embrace the messy, unfiltered parts of you and say, I am lovable, even in my imperfection? Wouldn't that be a kind of freedom? Dove, now, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart, if you feel comfortable. Feel the warmth there. Feel the love, the unconditional love, that surrounds you in this moment. You don't need to do anything for it. You don't need to prove anything. It is simply yours. Always. And as you breathe, let me share this prayer with you. May you always remember that you are enough, just as you are. May you find peace in the quiet moments and courage in the times of struggle. May you know that you are worthy of love, simply by being you. May you hold yourself gently, forgiving the times when you fall short, knowing you are still worthy of grace. Seedling, let these words be a gentle reminder, even on the days when you feel like you're not enough. Even on the days when the world feels too heavy. Even on the days when the struggle feels endless. You are enough. You always have been. And you always will be. Glowing star, now, before we close this time together, I want you to know something very important. This journey we're on, it's not about getting to a perfect destination. It's about moving through the journey with compassion. It's about growing and unfolding, piece by piece, in a way that honors your humanity. So, keep going. Even when it feels hard. Even when the world tells you to be something different. Keep showing up. Keep being you, because the world needs the version of you that is still learning, still growing, still loving, even with the messy edges. That version of you is the one that is most beautiful. Dizzy, and as you close this moment, remember this, you are more than enough. You always have been. And you always will be. Folded hands, thank you for spending this time with me today. Thank you for opening your heart to these words. Thank you for letting yourself receive the healing that's waiting for you. You are so, so loved. Take care of yourself, and remember, you don't have to be perfect to be loved. You just have to be you. And that, my dear one, is enough.